In today's workout, we're going to be adding some intensity with some standing leg movements and a little bit of cardio bursts here and there, mixed in with our mat work. So go ahead and lie all the way down to start, lying on your back, feet flat on the mat, knees bent. Just kind of let your bones settle into the floor. Just take a moment to take a couple breaths. Place your hands on your rib cage. Take an inhale through your nose and feel how you can expand your rib cage nice and wide. And then as you exhale through the mouth, relax the shoulders, the chest, and the rib cage back down. Do that a couple more times to feel how your rib cage can stretch apart as you inhale. And as you exhale, how you can just soften the bones to the floor, funneling the rib cage gently downward and inward. Again, inhale, expanding your rib cage laterally to the sides and posteriorly to the mat. And then as you exhale, feel how your abdominals can literally wrap around the edges of your ribs and melt them, cinching them inward and downward. One last time. Inhale, expand the rib cage as wide as you can to the sides and to the back. And as you exhale, feel like a little corset is just gently pulling your ribs back in and down, cinching them just like a silk scarf. Now go ahead and reach your arms down by your sides. Let's float both arms up to the sky and all the way back overhead, and just notice how the back of your rib cage may or may not pop off of the mat. Just take note. And then lift the arms back up to the sky and then rest your arms back down. And let's do that again. Reach both arms up to the sky and all the way back overhead. Notice if your rib cage tends to pop off the floor any amount. And then lift the arms back up and rest the arms down and rest your ribs heavy into the mat. Now place your right hand on your rib cage and let's just do that with your left arm. So as the left arm goes back overhead, the right arm is going to be a gentle reminder to try to keep your ribs melted to the mat as we lift and lower that left arm. We're going to stay on that left side and just continue at a slow pace to find your range of motion with that arm. How far can you go without popping the rib cage up to the ceiling? So we don't want to flare the rib cage. If we're flaring the rib cage, that means that we're extending our vertebra, we're extending our upper and middle back, which isn't a horrible thing to do, but when we're in our squats and our lunges, we probably don't want to be doing that, right? We want to feel a nice, neutral, strong, stable spine. And so let's switch to the other arm, left hand on the front of the ribs, right arm down by your side. Let's see if we can do the same thing with this right arm and just take note of the difference, right versus left. Sometimes we have a tighter shoulder on one side. And if your shoulder is tight on one side, you won't have the same range of motion. And you might also notice how the rib cage wants to pop up as that arm reaches further overhead. Or vice versa. Maybe this side's a lot more flexible and has a bigger range of motion. And maybe you don't feel the ribs being tugged on at all. So just notice and take this with you when we're doing our standing work. Just remember your range of motion in either shoulder. How far overhead really can you reach, maintaining neutral? So now let's play with the pelvis a little bit. You're going to take your fingertips and place them right on the creases of your hips, right where your thigh bone meets your hip sockets, and feel how that's an angle, right? There's a bend there. And so from there, just imprint your low back and you'll feel how that angle opens up. You're kind of releasing the wrinkles on your front of your pants. And then as you rock back to your tailbone, you rebend at that spot. Let's do that a couple times. It's kind of confusing. So as you roll to your low back, you feel how this hip joint opens. And as you roll back to your tailbone, the crease closes, right? Two more times. Imprint your low back to the mat by just gently pressing your low back to the floor. This front of the hip joint opens. And as you rock back to your neutral, to your tailbone, this hip joint closes. Pretty important. So now keep your fingertips on your hip joints. Let's continue through the low back or imprint and start to roll your hips off the floor up high into a bridge. Notice at the top of your bridge, your hips are completely open. Your glutes are engaged. Take an inhale. As you exhale, let's soften the chest first. Roll the chest down, roll rib by rib through the middle back, lower back, and then as you get back to your tailbone, you notice how your hip joints close again, right? Two more times. Curl the tailbone, roll to your low back. Notice how your hips are starting to open and stretch out. At the top, they're fully open. Your glutes are on. Hold for an inhale. Now soften the chest and the ribs down first. Keep those hip joints open and then slowly roll through the low back. And then when you get to your back pockets and back to your tailbone, you close that hip joint. One last time articulating. Curl your tailbone, roll to your low back, start to peel all the way up. Now one note here at the top. When you're up here, can you match the rim of your rib cage with the rim of your pelvis, right? We don't want the ribs to be flared up higher than the pelvis. Really important. Take this with you when we're standing in our squat position. Let's roll all the way back down, one vertebra at a time. Now let's take the articulation out of it. Let's just stay neutral. So you may need to walk your heels a little bit closer to your butt. Find that hip crease. We want to keep that hip crease. Holding here for an inhale. As you exhale, engage your sit bones, just a little squeeze. We haven't lifted anything yet. You're just engaging. Stand into your heels. Now from here, can you pop straight up and open your hip joints at the top? Again, we didn't flare the ribs, right? To get back down, we're going to start at the hip crease this time. So bend right at that crease and set your tail down. Notice we're in neutral. We did not articulate. Do that again. Squeeze your glutes and pop straight up. The rim of your ribs matches the rim of your pelvis. Find that hip crease, bend there to set your tailbone down. Couple more times, pop straight up. So the change is happening at our hip sockets, not our spine. Go straight back down, leading with your tailbone. Two more times, pop straight up. Stay in your neutral spine, lead with your tailbone, dive it back down. One more time, pop straight up. And with your tailbone, lead down towards the floor. Good. Now we should be right at that neutral position, right? So take that with you when we're standing into our squats, which let's start now. So hug your knees to your chest, rock yourself all the way up, and you are going to stand sit bone distance apart with your feet, arms by your sides. When we're going into a squat position, you want to make sure that your knees are tracking right forward over your second toes, and then you come right back up. So let's just practice just good alignment. And you can even place your hands around your ribs, right? If you're a rib popper, you'll need this. So make sure that when you come down, you only go to the point where you don't pop the ribs forward, right? You can always put thumbs on the bottom ribs, middle fingers on your hip bones, and keep that same distance as you go up and down. Another variation is just put both hands on your ribs and just notice as you go up and down if you tend to flare the ribs out or if you can keep them softly knit. Let's do two more. Knees in line with your second toes. They're not wobbling in, they're not wobbling out. Your heels are down, all 10 toes are down. So we're going to add on to that. So place your hands wherever you need them for your feedback. We're going to squat down. This time when you come up, lift your heels. Lower the heels, squat back down. Stand up, lift the heels, lower the heels, and down. So we're going slow just so you can find your balance, especially as you lift and lower those heels. I want a little pause at the top when the heels lift. Good. You can always place your hands on your low belly, and as you lift your heels, you pull the belly in so you go straight up to the sky versus forward, right? So can you find your glutes and your belly to go straight up to the crown of the head? Let's do two more. Straight up to the sky. One more time. Then we're going to add the arms, which will add a little bit of cardio. Anytime we add arms overhead, it challenges your cardio, your heart. Let's lower down, sweep the arms down. As you come up to your tippy toes, you lift the arms up. Do that again. Set the heels down, squat, and up. Good. So take your time in the beginning, get the form, and then we'll add a little bit of speed pretty soon here. Just find your balance. Equal weight on all 10 toes. I should say on the ball mound of your 10 toes, right? We're going to do 5 more, a little bit faster. You sweep down and you lift up. Sweep down and up. Good. Find your glutes. Find your belly. Get tall. 2 more. Straight up. Watch those ribs and rest for a second. So your option is to play around with your speed. You can keep heels down. You can lift heels up. To intensify it, we're going to add a little hop at the top. So that was just kind of a little prep just to get you comfortable with the jump, with the hop. If you're not into jumping, don't worry about it. Just pick your variation. All right. So 10 jumps. We're going to start with the arms up. You squat down and you come straight up. So can you go straight up to the sky? Find your glutes, find your core. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Rest. Nice job. All right, so we're going to walk to the back edge of our mats. Usually I do a standing roll down, but here I'm going to do a standing squat down, just in case you would prefer to do a flat back versus a round back. Stand a little bit wider with your feet. You're going to bend your knees just like you're squatting. Nice neutral spine. Come all the way down until your hands reach the ground. You walk yourself out to a plank. From here, you can walk your feet closer together and gently set your knees down, heels up. So can you keep your hips open, right? So we're not back here. Our hips are open, our glutes are on. Walk your hands out the width of your mat. We're going to do just 5 push-ups. Bending the elbows to come down, pressing away to come up. You are looking right between your thumbs. So we don't want to look ahead of us. We don't want to crank that neck, right? So just look at some place in the mat right between your thumbs. Let's do 2 more. Inhale down, exhale up. 1 more time. Good. Sit back, child's pose. Lovely. Let's do 5 more. Now, if you would feel better to do the next 5 on your toes, we can go for that as well. Knees are always a good option though. So from here, you bend and come up for 5. Looking at the spot between your thumbs on the mat. Nice long neutral spine. 2 more times. Inhale down, exhale up. 1 more time. Soften the knees to the floor. Sit back, child's pose, rest. Good. From there, let's come up and sit on your butts for a little bit of ab work. So you're going to lie back down on your back. We're going to do some chest lift variations. And so let's place your hands behind your head, just interlace them to protect the neck. Elbows off the mat just slightly. Shoulders melt down. Stay for an inhale. Exhale, nod the chin to the chest. Curl your upper body up. Look between your thighs and inhale all the way back down. Do that 2 more times. Exhale, curl the upper body up. Look between your thighs. And inhale all the way back down. 1 more time. Exhale, curl it up, scoop the belly. And inhale all the way back down. Now release your hands. That's always an option. But what I'd prefer is if you have both arms reaching up to the sky. Stay for an inhale. Exhale, nod the chin to the chest. Curl your upper body up. Now we're going to stay here. Can you float the right arm up to the ceiling and lower it back down? Your goal is to stay in your curl the entire time. So as the arm lifts up, we don't want to deviate the ribs, right? We want to curl our rib cage up so that we truly are just getting that nice range of motion with your arms and there's no change in your ribs. Let's do 1 more on the left. Inhale it up, exhale it down. Let's rest your head and reach both arms back behind you and stretch. Take a breath. Float both arms back up to the sky. Inhaling to hold. Exhale, nod the chin to the chest. Curl the upper body up. Turn your palms to face inward towards your body. This time, the right arm is going to open to the right. Inhale. Exhale, pull it back in. Left arm open in any amount. Inhale. Exhale, pull it back in. Can you do that without moving your knees? So make sure that one knee isn't getting longer than the other. If it is, that actually means that you're moving your hips, right? So we're going to keep the connection between your ribs and your hips nice and solid so that your hips don't move and your ribs don't move. That was your last one. Come all the way back down. Inhale to hold. Exhale, nod the chin to the chest. Curl it back up. Now just the right arm is going to go back up to the sky. Circle it out to the side and back down into your hip. Left side up, open and around. Right side up. Open and around. Left side, maintaining that curl. This will be your last one. And then rest your head down. Take a few breaths. Roll your head from side to side. Inhale to hold. We got to go the opposite direction with those circles. Exhale, nod the chin to the chest. Curl your upper body up. Now the right arm is going to sweep out. You lift it around and up and down. Left arm, circle it out, around and down. The right side, let's just do one more each way. Left arm. Very nice. And come all the way back down. If you want to reach those arms overhead, go for it. Might feel good. So now we're going to do double arms. So float the arms up to the sky. Stay for an inhale. Exhale, nod the chin to the chest, curling your upper body up. Now stay in that curl. Can you float both arms up? Makes it a little bit more of a challenge. And then both arms down for 3. Inhale, scoop the belly as the arms go up, and exhale it down. You find your range of motion that you can maintain your curl. You know what that is. And then rest your head, lift the arms. Just relax your jaw, shake out the head. We're going to go out to the sides on our next one. Stay for an inhale. Exhale, nod the chin to the chest, curling your upper body up. You open the arms out to a T. Exhale, you pull back in for 3. Inhale, you open. Exhale, scoop the belly, squeeze in. One more time. Knit those ribs as you close the arms. Rest your head. Reach the arms overhead. We have the circles to get through. Reach the arms up to the sky. Inhale. Exhale, nod the chin to the chest, curling your upper body up. Now the arms lift up. They open. Exhale, they close. Inhale, up. They open and exhale it in. One more. They float. They're light. Exhale it in. Rest your head down. Inhale, one last time. Exhale, nod the chin, curl the upper body up. You open out to a T. Up and overhead, exhale it down. Inhale around and up, and exhale it down. One last time, inhale around and up, and exhale it down, and rest your head. Reach the arms overhead, stretch your legs long. Take a breath, inhale, and exhale. Go ahead and hug your knees into your chest. Rock from side to side. You're going to rock yourself all the way up to a seated position. And let's, for the sake of today, just sit crisscross applesauce with your legs. And the goal is just to be tall on your sit bones, right? Neutral spine, as we've been talking about. So let's cross your arms in a genie position. Roll your shoulders up, back, and down. You're going to start by twisting to your left. Now hold your twist. Don't go anywhere with your spine from here, but open your arms. Keep your twist. Good. Close your arms. And then pull back to center. Twist to the right. Stay in your twist. Open your arms. Keep your twist. Close your arms and pull back to center. Twisting to your left. Open your arms. Keeping your twist. Close your arms and pull back to center. Twist to the right. Open your arms. Close your arms and pull back to center. Twist to your left. Open your arms. Hold. Can you twist a little bit deeper with your spine and abs? Close your arms and pull back to center. Twist to the right, open your arms, hold, twist a little bit deeper, close your arms and come back to center. Now, let's go ahead and come into all fours, just to stretch out of that. Hands underneath your shoulders, knees under your hips. Curl your tail, curl the chin to the chest and push away from the floor, scooping the belly up. And then just release into extension into a cow. Inhale. And do that again. Exhale, curl your tail, curl the chin, push away. And then slowly release the belly to the floor, head and tail to the sky. Good. And then coming back up to just a neutral spine, let's actually come down onto our bellies for a little bit of prone work. So from here, you're going to have your elbows bent. And let's actually make a little pillow so that hand on top of hand makes a pillow right underneath our forehead. So with your legs sit bone distance apart, find your glute right at your sit bone, the right side, and lift the whole leg up just to a hover and rest it back down. And then go to the left, lift to a hover and set it back down, then back to the right and down. So your goal is to lift the straight leg by keeping the core engaged so that your back doesn't arch, right? So your low back already has a natural curve in it, but we don't want to deepen that curve any more than we need to. So pull the belly in tight so we just maintain that nice natural neutral curve, and we don't add to it. We just hold it. And so we're going to intensify this a little bit. You're going to go back to the right leg. You lift it and hold it up. Keep the height of the thigh. Flex your foot, bend your knee in towards your butt. Point your toes, stretch it back out, keeping the height of your thigh, and then rest that leg down. Lift the left leg up to a hover. Flex your foot, bend it in towards your butt. Keep the height of the thigh as you stretch and stretch it back and down. And lift the right leg. Flex the foot, heel to the butt. Keep the height of the leg as you stretch out and back down. Left leg lifts. You flex and bend. You point and reach longer and down. Right leg lifts up. You flex the foot, pull it in, and then you reach out longer and set it down. Left leg lifts. You flex and you bend. Feel that hamstring. Point and reach and back down. Let's do both legs if you can. You lift both legs up. You flex the feet, bend it in, and now reach and stretch out longer and rest the legs down. 4 more times. You lift the legs up. You flex and you bend and pull it in. And you reach longer, scoop the belly and down. You lift the straight legs up. Flex your feet, pull it in. Stretch both legs out longer and rest them down. 2 more times. Lift up. Flex your feet, pull and keep the lift of the thigh bones. Keep the lift of the thigh bones as you stretch out long and down. 1 more time. Lift it up. Flex and pull it in. And then point and stretch longer and rest it back down. Put your hands underneath your shoulders and just sit back to your heels. Child's pose, rest position. Let's come back to our seat. And we're going to go into that arm variation with our core work again. So you're going to sit with your knees bent, feet out in front of you, sit bone distance apart. Reach those arms ahead of you. Stay for an inhale. Exhale, curl your tailbone, roll halfway back and hold. Lift the right arm up to the sky. Lower the right arm down. You saw my foot wanted to lift up. Lift the left arm to the sky. Lower it down and then back to the right. So our goal is that we keep both feet resting on the mat. Keep the scoop of the belly, the curl of your tail. We're creating a C-shaped curve in our spine, but it's a capital C, right? We don't want to compress it. We want a nice long curve in our spine. And then rest that arm down, sit yourself back up. Grab onto your thighs and just open your chest. Inhale. Exhale, back to neutral. Reach those arms out. Inhale. Exhale, curl the tail, roll it back. Open the right arm out to the side. We're not deviating the ribs at all. We're not moving the pelvis at all. Our knees are nice and still. So when we open one side, one arm, nothing else in our body changes. Our spine doesn't change. Our core actually pulls in tighter. Let's do one more each way to the right. Good. Staying equal on both back pockets. We're not transferring any weight. And come back into your center. Sit yourself up. Grab onto the back of your thighs. Open your chest. Look up. Inhale. Exhale. Come back to neutral. Reach those arms out. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Curl your tailbone. Roll it back. Now right arm lifts up to the sky. You circle it out and around. I'm sure you remember all of this. Left arm lifts up to the sky. You circle it out and around. Can you keep your core pulled in such at center that you don't deviate your weight, right? You keep equal weight in the center of your body. And then sit yourself up. Grab onto the back of your thighs. Stretch out your chest. And release forward. Arms forward. Inhale. Exhale. Curl your tailbone. Roll it back. So now your right arm is going to sweep down, out, around, up, and circle. Left arm down. So we're not moving the ribs. We're not changing the shape of the spine. We're not moving our pelvis or our legs or our feet. We're just circling the arms effortlessly because our core is supporting the rest of our body. And you have one more time on the left side, big circle, or as big as you can make it. And then sit yourself up, grab onto your thighs, open your heart to the sky. And forward, reach those arms for a new double arm, you guys. Inhale to hold. Exhale, curl your tailbone, roll it halfway back. Now scoop the belly in tight, stay for an inhale. Exhale to lift the arms overhead so you can wrap your core. Inhale down. 2 more times. Exhale as your arms go overhead, keep the curl. Inhale down. 1 more time, scoop that low belly as the arms float. Inhale down, sit yourself up, grab onto your thigh bone, stretch. Good, reach those arms out ahead of you. Inhale. Exhale, curl it back. This time both arms are going to open out to the sides only as much as you can. And exhale, scoop to close. Good. So I changed the breath on you. You inhale to open out if you can. Exhale to close. One more time. Inhale, open out. And exhale to close. Sit yourself up. Open up your chest. We're going to try to stay back there for both directions of the circles just to whip through it. Reach those arms forward. Inhale. Exhale. Curl your tailbone. Roll it back. Good. Now the arms lift up. They open. Stay with those heels on the ground for 3. Slowly, right? Slower the harder. The longer you have to keep those arms up overhead and out to the sides, the harder it is on your core. So slow it down. And then we reverse. We go out. Slowly reach up and overhead. Concentrate on the shape of your spine, the curl of your ribs, the curl of your pelvis, the lightness of your arms, and the lightness of your legs. That was your last one. And you sit yourself up. You open the chest and release. So we're going to come to standing again to get through our second set, if you want to say. We're going to be in a wide turned out position. So your toes are a little bit turned out. And the rule still goes, when you bend your knees, you bend them in line with your second toe. So from here, let's just place your hands at your hips. My battery pack is going to be in the way a little bit. Hopefully it's not screeching at you. You're going to bend your knees to squat down. It should feel like a nice hip stretch, right? And then come right back up. So remember our hip crease. We want to bend right at that hip crease and then come up. We're not bending at the spine. We're not tucking the pelvis. The pelvis is just lowering and lifting like an elevator. Just like an elevator with our rib cage too, right? The ribs and the pelvis go down like an elevator and the ribs and the pelvis lift up like an elevator. You keep the rim of the rib cage in line with the rim of your pelvis the entire time. Just get a nice stretch. Now notice when you're coming down, if your kneecaps can truly stay over your second toes. If your knees are folding inward, then your turnout is too wide with your feet, right? So match the turnout of your hips with the turnout of your feet, or vice versa. Match the turnout of your feet with the turnout of your hips. That sounds better. So let's just do a couple more just for a nice stretch. Going straight down. So the crown of your head is literally right over your tailbone. No leaning forward. One more time. Inhale down and exhale it up. Good. So now we're going to add that little heel lift. So you might need to walk in a little bit closer on this one. So we come down, maybe not go down quite as far because we're a little bit closer with our feet. When you come up, can you raise your heels? It's just going to be an inch. Lower the heels down and bend. So remember, the heel raise is always an option. When you raise the heels, can you stay equal to the big toe and little toe ball of the foot? So we're not really on the toes. Your toes are just there for balance. They're light. They're stretched out on the mat. But the ball of the foot, you should be equal between the big toe side and the little toe side. So when you raise your heels, do you have a tendency to roll out to the pinky toe side or roll into the big toe side? Just think about it. Where are your knees? Are they rolling in, rolling out, or are they staying in line with your second toes? Find the muscles that keep them in line with the second toes. Let's do 2 more. Feel your glutes lifting your heels up just that little bit of an inch. 1 more time. Good. So now we're going to take it into a little bit more of cardio with a bounce or a hop. If you don't want to hop, you can always just raise the heels or continue to do your squatting with the heels down. So again, a little bit closer. Hands will be at your hips. You're going to bend your knees. From here, your knees are going to stay pretty bent. We're just going to leave a little hop. So it's like a little ankle hop, right? It's not very high. Your knees stay bent. Your hips stay bent. Let's do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now let's do a full straight leg hop. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Come all the way up. We're going to do 5 more full straight leg. I want you to get a full bend and a full extension, right? So let's do 5 more. You bend and extend. Bend and extend. Bend, extend. Let's do 3, 2, and 1. Rest. Nice job. Walk your feet back in. We're going to step to the back edge of our mat. Feet a little bit wider. Let's squat down to bring our hands to the mat and walk yourself out to a plank. Walk your knees in, set your knees down, sit back, child's pose. Let's come forward. We're gonna go back into some shoulder work. Instead of push-ups though, what I'm gonna have you do is a little bit of elbow, or I should say hand to shoulder taps. So your knees are gonna be apart. Feet are together. You can lift your feet up, that's totally fine, but your hips are open, right, versus being back here. Because we want to have your shoulders literally over your wrists. So if you're back here, you're at this angle with your arm and shoulder. You want to be right up over. Knees are apart, just so you have better balance. Walk your hands actually a little bit closer to each other. It's like a tripod, right? So from here, you're going to tap your left hand to the right shoulder and down, and the right hand to the left shoulder and down. So when you tap, the slower you go, the harder it is, because you have to balance on that one hand, that tripod, longer if you're slower. Pull the belly in. I apologize if I'm hitting my mic each time that my left hand taps my shoulder. I'm trying to be light. Good. And so you can feel this is oblique work as much as it is shoulder work. We're holding your plank, and each time that we shift, or I should say each time that one hand is holding us, you can feel your obliques have to figure out how to hold you in space. So we are not shifting the hips from side to side, and I just corrected my neck. That's my faulty position, right? So we want to look down at your thumbs so that we're not cranking the back of the neck. Find your glutes. Pull the belly in tight. Let's be here for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and set it back. Child's pose. We're going to do one more variation of that. Be a little bit quicker because I'm going to have you try it with a full plank. And if you don't feel comfortable with the full plank, you come back to your knees. Either way, whether you're on your toes or your knees, you're going to be wide apart. Your hands are going to be close together, almost like your thumbs are going to touch. And your feet will be as wide as the mat. We'll start there. All right, so holding your plank, you're going to look down at your thumbs. I have to correct myself. Tap and tap. The slower you go, the harder it is. Can you keep your pelvis really still? Line the rim of your rib cage up with the rim of your pelvis. So this is core work. We don't want to let the ribs flare to the floor. Right? We've been talking about the rib cage a lot. Lining the rib cage up with the pelvis. Last 4, 3, keeping your hips still, 2, and 1, rest. Sit it back, child's pose, stretch. Let's come up to a seated position, and we are going to go into our ab work again. So go ahead and slowly roll yourself all the way down to the floor. Let your head relax, let your shoulders relax, your hips, your ribs, your feet. So we're going to go back into that arm variation, but add the legs. So hug the left knee into your chest, hug the right knee into your chest. Stay forward, inhale. Exhale, nod the chin to the chest, curling your upper body up. And remember, the curl is just optional. You can always keep your head down and just do the limbs. We're going to reach the left arm and left leg away from each other, and you pull it back in. And then reach the right arm and right leg away from each other and pull it back in. So remember your range of motion with your shoulder girdle, because if you go too far overhead with that arm, your ribs might pop up, and that means you lose your curl. So just pay attention. And same thing with the leg. If you go too low, your low back might pop up, and you lose your curl in the lower half of your body. We want to keep your spine at that capital C-shaped curve the whole time, and we don't want the limbs to distract us. That's the challenge. Let's do one more. Same arm, same leg, and you pull in and you rest your head. Roll your head from side to side. All right, the next time we're going to reach both arms and both legs. A little bit more of a challenge. Inhale to hold. Exhale, nod the chin to the chest, curling your upper body up. As both arms reach overhead, both legs are going to reach away, and you pull it back in. Do that again. Inhale, and you find your variation, right? So meaning, if you're up here, that's fine. That's just as challenging. If you're here, that's fine too. But make sure that you keep the shape of your spine. So if you go wide apart with your arms and legs, make sure that doesn't pull you out of your curl. You're keeping the low back to the mat. You're keeping your upper body curl. We have 2 more. Find your range of motion. Each day is different. Inhale to reach, exhale it in, rest your head, roll your shoulders, roll your head. We're going to do one more, and it's going to be with an arm circle. Your legs are not going to circle. It's just going to be the arms. Stay for an inhale. Exhale, nod the chin to the chest. Curl your upper body up. We reach the legs. We reach the arms. Keep the legs there as you circle the arms around. Can you curl up one more vertebra? And then hug the knees back in. Stay in that curl. Reach the legs, reach the arms. Circle only your arms, but can you curl up one more vertebra? And then hug back in. Stay in that curl 2 more times. Reach the legs, reach the arms. Circle the arms, curl up a little bit more. And pull those knees in one last time. Reach the legs, reach the arms. Circle the arms slowly. Curl it up. And rest everything down. Roll your knees from side to side. Roll your head from ear to ear. Roll those shoulders. Nice job. Grab onto the back of your thighs. Rock yourself all the way up. And then scoot yourself back for the seated saw. So this will feel good, a nice little stretch. If you can, legs are straight. If that means that you're back here, then bend your knees so you can get nice and tall in those sit bones. So that neutral spine we're striving for, right? So from here, reach those arms out. Let's twist to your left. Curl the chin to the chest and gently reach down so your right hand reaches over your left toe. Scoop the belly backwards, pull those arm bones apart, and stack up starting at your tail and ending at your head. Come back to center. Twist to the right. Reach those arms apart. Scoop the belly, curl down head to tail. Stay for an inhale. Curl up tail to head. Keep stretching apart those arms. Come back to center. It's slow. You twist to the left. Stretch your arms like Gumby. Curl the chin to the chest. Curl your spine. Reach over the opposite toe. Stay for an inhale. Exhale. Scoop the belly. Start at your tail. End at your head. Keep stretching those arms across the room. And back to center. One more time. Twist to the right. Stretch those arms apart. Curl the spine head to tail. Stay for an inhale. Exhale, scoop the belly, curl up, tail to head, and come back to center. And rest those arms. Give yourself a shoulder roll. Let's turn on to our bellies. And we are going to do a little single arm, single leg variation here. Hopefully I'm still on camera. Your legs are mat distance apart behind you. Your arms are mat distance apart in front of you, so you're drawing an X with your body. Your nose is hovering the mat. I want you to feel the muscles closest to your core. They kind of are your core muscles in the back side of your body. We're going to lift the right arm to a hover and left leg to a hover. It's very small, and you rest it down. You lift the left arm and right leg to a hover and lower it down. So you're drawing an X on your back with your muscles. So the left shoulder blade and right glute are going to connect by muscles, and then your right shoulder blade and your left glute are going to connect via your muscles and switch. So you should feel that X drawing on your back. It has nothing to do with your feet and nothing to do with your hands. It's all about your core, the back side of your core, your back muscles. So we're just going to continue to alternate. Can you pull your belly in tight? Can you feel the funneling of your rib cage, especially in front, right? We don't want to go into a complete dump of the belly or flaring of the ribs here. Let's just do a couple more. One more time each way. Feel that shoulder blade glide down at an angle towards your opposite back pocket and rest. So now the next one, we're going to lift all 4 limbs off the floor. It's Superman, Superwoman. Hold for an inhale. As you exhale, you're going to lift all 4 limbs up and lower it back down. Do that again. So now we truly are going into a back extension here because your head is lifting a little bit. The ribs are arcing up. The tail is arcing up, but you still have control of the front of your core, right? So we're using the belly to support this extension because we're not totally doing a back bend here. So we should still have the front of our belly muscles on to support this small back bend that we're doing. And this is going to come back to us in the next segment here. So let's just get this right here. And the next exercise down the road is going to be so much easier now that we've set it up. One more time. And hold. Melt the shoulders, lengthen your neck. Hold 10, 9, 8. Feel your core. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Rest it down. Sit it back. Child's pose. Stretch. Forehead to the mat. Arms soft. Shoulders relaxed. Take a breath. All right, so let's come up to standing. The last segment that we're going to do is single leg work standing. You can always go back to double leg work if you need, so just listen to your body. But what you're going to do, I call it teeter-totter. There's a different name for it probably, I just don't know it. Your hands are going to be at your hips, and I'll give you some variations with the hands in time. But basically, you are going to stand sit bone distance apart, parallel. Let's step your right foot back behind you, but most of the weight is in your left leg, right? So the right toes are just barely touching the mat. It's like your kickstand. There's not a lot of weight. Soften the left knee, just a little softness. Now, can you engage your right back glute? So we haven't even gone anywhere yet, but you're getting ready, right? So this right glute is nice and strong. Your back leg is super strong, but there's no weight in it. You are literally going to hinge forward at this left hip joint. So if you need to put your fingertips there to bend at that hip joint, go for it, and then you come right back up, right? So stick your fingertips right in that hip crease and make wrinkles in the front of your jeans as you tip forward and you come right back up. Now, if you're a rib flarer, put your hands on your ribs, funnel them down as you tip forward. Right? So if you allow the ribs to splay forward, you're actually putting a lot of strain in your back. We don't want to arch the back. We want to stay neutral. So we have our natural arches, our natural curves, but we're not going to intensify them with a big back extension, right? And if you flare the ribs, that puts you into back extension. We want the core to be on to help stabilize you. We don't want all back muscles to do this. We want the front of the belly to take its part as well. So as you go up and down, we're taking your time. You should be feeling this left standing glute. And so if your right hand is on your ribs, put your left hand on your glute. When you come up, woo, I lost my balance. When you come up, it's the left glute that pulls you back up. Let's do one more. The right leg is going back, and you come right back up. Good. So now step your right foot down, left foot back. So again, your left foot is just a kickstand. This leg stays strong the whole time. So engage this back glute. Bend at the front right hip flexor. Yeah, and then right back up. So if you need to put your fingertips in that hip flexor to remind you to bend and crease right at the hip, not at the spine. Hands can go on the front of your rib cage so that you narrow the ribs, you cinch them in as you come down. Yeah, lots to think about. Long neck. So you can put thumbs on the bottom ribs, middle fingers on your hip bones. You're keeping that distance the same the entire exercise. So we're not side bending, we're not shrinking, we're not arching. Yeah, I know I've said a lot. Let's do a couple more. Squeeze that back left glute to go down, right? It's holding that leg back up there. Now your right glute is going to pull you back up. One more time. You tip, and your standing right glute is going to lift you back up. Now step both feet down. We're going to do that one more time, but I want you to walk forward a little bit because we're going to add on. Right leg goes back. Hands go wherever you want them. We're going to tip forward, hold. Now from here, your left leg is down, right leg is up. Very carefully bend your front left standing knee, hold. You're going to gently come down with your back right foot so you're in a lunge. From this lunge, line your ribs with your hips, so we're in a little bit of a hinge forward with your body. Hands can be wherever you need them. Most of the weight is in your left front leg. We're going to tap the right foot in and reach it back. Do it again. Tap it in and reach it back. So all of the weight and the work is in your front left standing leg. The right leg is just moving. Nice and light with that right leg. We're going to tap it in for 5. Stay as low as what you started. 4. Keep that left hip hinge. 3. Nice neutral spine. 2. And 1 in and stand all the way up. Now, readjust. Right foot down, left foot back. We're going to hinge forward, hold, find your balance. Bend your right knee. Come down like an elevator. Now set your left back toes down. We're in a forward hinge with your upper body. You're going to stay at this height with your hips, bend the back knee in and reach it back. You pull in and back. The only thing moving on your body is that left leg. The hips aren't moving, the ribs aren't moving, shoulder girdle staying the same, spine is staying the same. Pull the belly in. I wasn't counting. Let's do 4 and 3. Check your knee alignment. 2 and stand all the way up. Shake it out. Good. Now let's do a little bit of side work. So we're going to stand in the middle of our mats. From here, let's step out. We're not going to be turned out in this one. We're actually going to be parallel with your feet and knees, but really wide with your legs. We're going to go into a side lunge. Let's start bending our left knee, and we're hinging forward a little bit on this one. When you stand up, you're going to be standing on this left leg, the one that's bent right now. So from here, just kidding, I lied. When you stand up, you're actually going to be standing on your straight leg right now. So you're going to push off of your bent knee to stand on your right. And then you come back down to the left. Push off and land. So the pushing leg is really light as you go up in the air over to the right leg, right? So you land and you stand tall. You bend to land and you stand tall. Now you can stay with your left foot on the mat, or when you press off, lift it up and land. So it gives you a little bit of time to find balance on that right leg. Push. And you can give a little bit of a lift with that left leg, right? Find a nice soft knee on that right side. So we don't want to lock. Be careful that you're not locking that right leg. We're just softly lifting and land. 2, and when we land on this last one, we're going to hold. Stay. Now we're going to keep all the weight on this left leg. From here, tap your right foot in and tap it out. In and out. So all the weight is on this left leg. I think I'm getting my rights and my lefts mixed up, but that's nothing new for me. 4, 3, hips stay still. 2, and hold it in and stand. Nice work. So now we get to that all on the other side. So go ahead, step wide, feet sit bone. Feet are wide, parallel. You can tell I'm getting tired. Let's bend the right knee. So now our body weight is over this right side. When we press out, we're going to tap and transfer the weight to the left side. Bend to come down, push and tap. So when we push away, we're getting as tall as you can with your glutes, with your core, right? Tap. Good. So just like we did with the other side, if you want to lift that right leg when we're transferring the weight over to your left, let's do that now. So you lift, and each side can be different. Just like our shoulders, if one hip is tighter than the other, you're going to notice it. And so go at the range of motion that you can stay neutral in your pelvis, spine, and ribs. Let's press out for 4. And you can give a little lift for 3, 2, and 1. Hold. Now all the weight is going to stay on this right side. We're going to tap the left foot in, tap it out, tap it in, tap it out. So the left leg probably isn't going out as far as it did when we first started, right? Because we want to keep all of our body weight over this right leg. Keep it bent. Stay in that nice squat position on that right leg. Let's tap in 3. Tap in 2. Tap in 1 and stand. Walk to the back of your mat. We're almost done. Nice job, you guys. Your feet are going to be a little bit wider. We're going to do that squat down to a plank. So bend your knees, neutral spine all the way down. It's really important to practice these squats. Walk yourself out to a plank. Come down to your knees. Sit back, child's pose. Take a couple breaths. All right. So you're going to walk your hands in about shoulder distance apart. We're going to go into our last set of push-ups here for arm work. From here, your arms are fully extended in your child's pose. They're shoulder distance or maybe even a little bit closer. You are going to keep your hands where they are on the mat. Come forward so your shoulders are actually forward of your wrists. It feels a little goofy right now, but your hips are open, right? And so with your shoulders a little bit ahead of your wrists, this is going to give you an opportunity to do a tricep push-up, just one, and then sit it back. So we're going to practice that because it's a little different. You're going to come forward, open your hips all the way so that your shoulders are forward of your wrists. You open your chest, you bend your elbows, press back up, and sit it back. So the goal is to not let your elbows flare away from your body. You want to touch your rib cage, press back up. So it's a very small range of motion down. Our chest is not going to the floor, right? So you just bend a couple inches, press back up. And I know I have to correct myself with my neck, so I'll get that on the next one. When you come forward, keep your eyesight down on the mat so that we're not bending through the back of the neck. And press it back. Good, let's do 3 more. Open up your hips, scoop the belly. Careful that you don't flare the front of the ribs or pooch the front of the belly. Core work. 2 more times. Open your hips, bend the elbows, collarbones wide, and sit it back. 1 more time, but we're going to stay out here and try for 5 and up. And bend the elbows for 4 and up. Triceps. Keep the back side of your body between your shoulder blades just as wide as the front side of your body. So we're not squeezing those shoulder blades. You're staying nice and broad. Trying, right? It's hard. 1 more time. Press it back. Sit and rest for a second. Good. Come all the way up to your seat. 2 more exercises. We're on the countdown. Lie all the way back. And once you're back on the ground, just take a moment to let your bones settle into the floor. Rock your knees from side to side. Lift both arms up to the sky. Stretch both arms overhead. Straighten your legs long. And take a breath. All right, float both arms up to the sky. I'm gearing myself up for this. Exhale, nod the chin to the chest, curl up partway, look down your body. Now from here, you should feel your low back starting to try to reach towards the floor. Scoop the belly tighter. Can you float your legs up from there? And pump the arms. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, obviously, if you need to bend your knees in, that's totally fine for the hundreds, right? This is hard work. If you need to set your feet down with your knees bent, that's totally fine. You can even set your head down and just pulse the arms and keep your belly really flat. That's actually kind of harder than doing the full version. So, whichever version that you want to take, you go for it. It's your workout. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. And of course, I forgot to count. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's do 3 more sets. 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Soften your knees just a little bit if they're reaching out so we're not overdoing the legs. And exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 more set. 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hug the knees in and rest. I think we did a little less than 100, but that's okay. Stretch your arms overhead, stretch your legs long. And we are going to finish with swimming. Turn over onto your bellies. I'm going to turn this way. Your legs will be apart and turned out, and your arms are going to be overhead. We're back to that X position. And if you recall, when we were lifting opposite limbs, this is where it's coming in handy. Pull the belly in tight. Float all 4 limbs up. You're in a little bit of extension. Pull the ribs nice and narrow in the front of your body. And we're going to start to swim. So opposite arm, opposite leg, and just play with it. Just flutter around. The first 10 are going to be kind of wobbly, but your goal is to keep your torso completely still. So if we had a video camera just on your back, between your shoulder blades and your back pockets, we wouldn't even know that your limbs were moving, right? So how can you find that cadence? How can you find that strong support around your girdle to just flutter those legs? If this is easy, you go bigger, right, with the flutter. Pulling in. If it's hard, if you're wobbling, slow it down. Find that pace. Last 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Rest. Sit it back. Child's pose. Whew. I'm in it with you, you guys. It's not easy. It's the beginning of the new year. Getting back to our goals, stopping the craziness of the eating, getting over the colds, all that good stuff. But we're here, we're back. And like I said, I'm in it with you. So let me know if you have any questions or if you have any suggestions for new upcoming videos. What do you want to see? I'll try to give it to you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.